Welcome to Sports Jam!
Everybody get up, it's time for sports now.
We got a real show going down.
Welcome to the Sports Jam.
It's your chance, talk and rant.
It's the Sports Jam.
All right. Hey man, you can't get any better than that.
All right, everybody. Why is the mics not on? Can you hear me? I don't think our mics are on right now. Maybe they are.
I can hear you.
I can't hear myself in this. This is weird. All right, well, welcome to the Sports Jam. I am Joe Rourke,
Sam Sapita.
and the date is July 2nd. It is Tuesday, and we got some breaking news for you. The Cubs traded starting pitcher Scott Feldman and catcher Steve Clevenger to Baltimore for pitchers Jake Arrieta, starting pitcher, and reliever Pedro Strop. Also, they traded for in that trade for some international bonus pool money.
Which is what you really want, because you want some international prospects.
Yeah, the trade for Arrieta and Pedro Strop isn't a great one. Arrieta is 27 years old, 6'4" righty, ranked as high as the 67th best player in baseball. That was back in 2000, or best prospect in baseball. That was back in 2009. However, he has a career 5.46 ERA, a WHIP near 1.5, averages 7 strikeouts per 9, 4 walks per 9, which is really high, and a 1.74 strikeout per walk ratio, which is not very good at all.
Doesn't seem like he's going to be much of a contributor. They probably were just throwing him in as extra pieces.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some potential, and obviously he was a top prospect at one point. So I think they're just getting him, hoping they can turn him around, because his career has not lived up to what it was supposed to be.
What they really want, though, is the picks for the international signing.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Pedro Strop, the reliever they got, career 4.14 ERA, a WHIP also around 1.5. He had a decent 2012 season, but he also hasn't been that great. I think his ERA this season is up over 7.5. So he's not having too good of a season. It was kind of just scrap players the Cubs got back. However, the Orioles sent their third and fourth international signing slots to the Cubs today, which is about $400,000 they can now use to sign international players. The way they changed the rules this year with actually they just added the international signing period, which started today. This is the first year that went into effect, and basically each team gets 4 slots that they can use to sign international players. So they can sign up to 4 players, and unless they trade for other picks, it's kind of like the draft. It's like you get draft picks.
Yeah.
And you have a certain pool of money. So the Orioles traded the recommended slot bonuses of those pools to the Cubs. So now the Cubs have more money. It's actually the first ever trade of bonus pool money, considering this is the first year it's ever happened. Today is the beginning of the signing period. The Cubs will likely try and use this money for outfielder Eloy Jimenez, he's ranked universally the number 1 prospect, international prospect available right now. Then, only like 20 minutes later, the Dodgers traded Matt Guerrier to the Cubs for
Carlos Marmol.
Carlos Marmol, finally gone. And the Cubs also sent over to the Dodgers their 4th international bonus slot and $2 million of Marmol's $5 million left.
Why would you want Carlos Marmol anywhere near your baseball team?
It's the Dodgers. They've picked up bad contracts the past
Like
year and a half.
Beckett. Why would you take Beckett either?
Crawford, they picked Adrian Gonzalez. They took all those huge contracts.
What is Magic thinking?
Clearly, they've got a lot of money to throw around. Yeah, Magic and his buddies got some money they want to spend. Then, minutes later, the Cubs trade their second base prospect, Ronald Torreyes, to the Astros for the 2nd and 3rd slot international signing bonus slots. Torreyes is a 20-year-old Venezuelan hitter, hitting .260 in AA for the Cubs. Now he's obviously going to be with the Astros. So, all in all, with the Cubs getting some of those picks, trading one of them away to the Dodgers in that Marmol deal, they've added about $1 million in international pool money that they can now spend.
Epstein's a magician, really.
These are some creative deals. I haven't seen any other team so far trade their international pool slots, and the Cubs have done it 3 times already in the past hour and a half.
What I'm thinking is he must like what's there to offer for in the international pool. He must really like the class that's coming in.
Yeah, they're gonna apparently just load up on some international players.
Watch out in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Could look like a pretty solid program.
So we went from having possibly a really light show where we couldn't think of very many topics to talk about to just a jam-packed baseball show. So now that all that Cubs stuff happened within the past hour, we are just loaded with sports. So let's talk about the MLB All-Star voting updates. Today they released the final AL update. The final NL update, I believe, is coming up tomorrow, but I've got your leaders thus far. And the voting ends July 6th, by the way. Your AL starters are, drum roll please, Joe Mauer at catcher, Chris Davis at first, Robinson Cano, your boy, at second base.
He's my boy.
Miguel Cabrera, obviously, at third base.
Beast.
Shortstop, J.J. Hardy. At DH, they got David Ortiz, and outfielders Mike Trout, Adam Jones, and Jose Bautista lead the AL voters so far. Again, it ends in 4 days, then we'll find out officially who is on the team. ESPN usually does a selection show, or MLB Network, on the weekend, so we'll see that coming up this weekend. Your NL leaders so far: catcher Yadier Molina, obvious pick right there. First baseman Joey Votto. Second baseman Brandon Phillips. Third base David Wright. Shortstop Troy Tulowitzki. And outfielders Carlos Beltran, Justin Upton, and Bryce Harper.
You wonder, Yasiel Puig, do you think he should be up there in the All-Star voting?
Well, the thing is, he wasn't on the – they do – I don't like this, but they make the ballots for the All-Star game before the season even starts.
That's weird.
Which is really goofy because you have people like Puig who aren't even on the ballot. You have to write them in.
And what if you're like B.J. Upton before the season? They thought he would be a solid contributor, and he's having a historically terrible year.
Right. Well, they do on the ballot you can choose from is all the team starters. So, I mean, B.J. Upton's on there along with every other starter for every other team. But, yeah, I don't like that they do it before the season because
that's
guys
weird.
like Puig have to be written in, and that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But the managers get to pick the reserves, so he'll get picked.
He will, because he's having a ridiculous – he's breaking records. For being so great in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I think that says first 100 at bats, he had 44 hits. That's hitting 440 right now.
That's sensational.
Yeah. So do you like the voting rules where every team gets one representative, where the fans vote for just the hitters and the managers pick pitchers and backups?
See, I don't like that the fans vote, because I'm guilty of this too.
Because people like you.
When I vote for my favorite players. I'm not gonna lie, I voted for Juan Pierre. Because Juan Pierre's one of my favorite players. I voted for, Puig. I voted for Rodriguez.
Well, you wrote Puig in.
I wrote Puig in.
Yeah.
And I voted for Alex Rodriguez.
Do you like that every team gets a representative? Do you like that the Houston Astros have to?
I also don't like that either. It's just if you're going to make an all-star team and you're going to make it as good of a game as you can make it, why would you, okay, we have to put someone in from this team?
Well, I understand the business end of it. They want a part of every single fan base to have a reason to watch the game, because Astros fans, if that rule wasn't in there, no Astros fan, or not very many Astros fans, I should say, would watch the All-Star game.
But you're actually playing for something. See, if it was
that's the thing. As soon as they added that it counts and it matters for something, they should have got rid of that representative rule.
Definitely.
Because then that's not fair to the teams who do you think the Astros really care if home field advantage comes
Astros
to the AL?
Astros and the Marlins. They're both in the NL.
They don't care if they win. They're not going to get a home field advantage in the World Series because it's not going to matter to them. So I don't like that rule. I understand from a business standpoint what they're trying to do.
They're trying to get viewers because it means something.
Right, but it's just they need to change one thing or the other. So any ways that you would change the voting?
Well, I would say strictly, I would say you get a committee for Major League Baseball.
Okay.
That should pick the All-Star. I don't think it should be managers, and I don't think it should be fans.
A committee of what, like the writers?
There should be a select committee that the commissioner selects. And
from where, though? Just from any walks of life, or?
They should get representatives from each team and make an All-Star team. I think that would be pretty cool. We also suggested you could do the NHL, how they
draft.
The NHL.
The draft for the NHL All-Star Game is pretty cool. I think the fans vote for the pool of players, and then captains are selected. I'm not sure if the fans vote for the captains or who votes for the captains, but then, yeah.
They do that for the home run derby.
All the players sit down and they pick. So you could have players from AL and NL teams all on the same team. It was like, it could be team like Joey Votto versus team Miguel Cabrera or whatever.
That's what it should be, because it's like, I don't think it should matter for anything.
But then obviously if they did the draft, they'd have to get rid of the
NL
or the home field advantage.
Yeah, I think they should get rid of that. I don't think it should matter for anything.
What I'd like to see happen is something where the fans are still involved, because they obviously don't want to alienate the fans, where the fans pick, let's say, the top 5 of each position. They vote for the top 5 first baseman, top 5 whatever, top 10 outfielders, etc. And then from there, the manager of each all-star team gets to pick from those 5 the 2 they want for each position.
So basically what you're saying is the draft pool is picked by the fans, but then in turn the captains pick from
No, not the captains. The manager of each all-star
manager from
team
each all-star. All right.
will pick the guys he wants from that list of 5. But it's still divided AL and NL.
Okay.
So the AL manager is still picking from just his AL guys, so that way the game can still matter. But he's picking from a collection of the top 5. Because otherwise, every single year you see a Yankees and Red Sox player who shouldn't be there voted at the top.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I love Derek Jeter. But there's been a couple years.
He hasn't been good in a long time.
There's been a couple years where it's like, really? Is he the best shortstop in the AL?
You always have them up there. So I think the manager should be able to say, no, I don't want him in the All-Star game. He doesn't deserve it. Let me get the 4th.
He's 30. He's like 37.
Yeah, so that's what I think should happen. The All-Star game will be July 16th at Citi Field. That is a Tuesday. That is 2 Tuesdays from now. And the game will probably be on Fox, I'm sure. The Home Run Derby will be the day before on Monday, as always. Are you going to watch the game? Do you usually watch the game?
I usually watch the All-Star game. I think it's actually
Home Run Derby.
I don't really watch the Home Run Derby.
Really?
I think the All-Star game is actually, like, it's the most entertaining All-Star game to me, because the football, like what their equivalent to the All-Star game, it's not entertaining whatsoever. And the NBA ones, there's no defense whatsoever. It's who can dunk better. So I think that the Major League Baseball one is actually entertaining. I think they actually try.
All right, well, I will definitely be watching. I always watch the Home Run Derby no matter what. I find that really exciting. The All-Star game I usually watch unless it's a blowout or something. I obviously look for the Sox players. I'm sure Chris Sale will get in there for an inning or two at some point. And I usually vote like the day before voting ends, and I vote strictly based on who I think are the best. I don't vote Sox players if they don't deserve it.
Do you think?
I don't do any of that stuff. So,
do you think managers should be able to withdraw players if, like, say they're important to your team, and you don't want them getting hurt?
Well, they do.
Do you think they should be able to, though?
Pitchers, definitely, because you don't want a guy pitching the day before the All-Star game and pitching again. As far as hitters, I don't know. I feel like hitters should just man up.
Yeah, I agree.
That's kind of what I feel. But, yeah, we'll see. They need to change the rules. Hopefully they're going to change it. Come up with something. All right, we're going to take a break here. This is Sports Jam on AM 1230 from JOP.
Hello, this is Raimundo Garcia, the busboy from El Taco Real. For almost 40 years now, El Taco Real has strived to be the most consistent restaurant we can be. Clean, great service, and the same high-quality Mexican fare possible. However, one of the best-kept secrets is that we occasionally offer off-the-menu weekend specials. We have an upscale huachinango, or red snapper, with a pineapple mango compote, and a stir-fried shrimp fajita platter in a chipotle cream. For dessert, my grandmother Cuca's capirotada, or bread pudding, is like none that you've ever had. So next time you're at Taco Real, ask your server for the off-the-menu specials, or ask for me, the busboy, and I'll stop whatever I'm doing and come down and tell you what we have.
This is Doug Johnson on guitar. He's come to believe everything should be easy. That's because earlier this week, Doug discovered something that changed his life. The Toro Personal Pace Walk Power More that effortlessly moved with him, automatically adjusting to his walking speed. With no lessons required. Toro, count on it.
This and all Toro products are available at Gus Bach Ace Hardware in their 3 locations, Lansing, Dyer, and Munster, serving the region since 1896.
At Smith Chevrolet, we aren't satisfied until you find the Chevy vehicle you're searching for. Serving Hammond as well as the surrounding Chicagoland area, we offer a full inventory of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at competitive, no-haggle pricing. Also available is the full-service repair and body shop. So if you're looking for that new or used Chevy vehicle, stop by at 6405 Indianapolis Boulevard in Hammond. Call 219-845-4000 or go to smithchevyusa.com.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Sports Jam. Let's talk some more White Sox and Cubs. They were both off yesterday. The Marlins won. The Astros and the Brewers lost.
So it's a race for the worst.
Which means the Sox are now in the 4th slot for the worst team. They are 4 games back of the Astros. The Cubs are now in the 7th slot, and they are 6.5 games back of Houston for that elusive number 1 spot.
It's going to be tough. The Astros always come up clutch when they're rooting for the last.
A little bit. The White Sox and Orioles will play a 3-game set starting tonight at 7:10 on the south side. John Danks versus Jason Hamill on the mound. And the Cubs in Oakland will get underway at 9:05 tonight in Oakland. That was supposed to be Scott Feldman versus A.J. Griffin. But Scott Feldman, as we said earlier,
no longer part of the team.
He gone. Yeah, he is out of here. So that will be, I forget who they said, Chris Russin, I think they said, or I don't know, I don't remember. Someone's going to fill in. We'll see. Looks like we got a caller on the line. Let's take this real quick. Caller, you are on. Who is this?
This is Alec with BSI, returning Larry's call.
Oh, well, we will. You're on the air right now, so we will. If you call call the station and not the online number. Yeah.
This was the one he left me. Sorry about that.
844-1230 is the number. You can call and get a hold of someone that way. All right.
844. Thank you.
Yep. Bye. What a
Still
tease.
counts as a caller.
Yeah, it's a caller.
It's a caller. That's 2.
And it wasn't Dave.
Wasn't not a Dave.
There we go. I don't even know who that was, but all right. Well, anyway, now where was I? All right. So in Bulls news, they signed free agent forward Mike Dunleavy, who verbally committed to the Bulls. He didn't officially sign yet because deals can't be signed until July 10th, but it appears he's going to agree to a 2-year, $6 million deal. He, I guess he's a 3-point threat.
Pretty good shooter off the bench. He's going to get some good bench minutes. It's not really a major sign. They were thinking about signing Monte Ellis, who's a big scorer, but I don't think they have enough money for it. So they're just going to go with someone with less money that can score a little bit and get them some productivity off the bench.
So Dunleavy will be their deep threat.
Yeah.
Also, veteran center. No, I got to remember how to say this name again.
Nazi,
yeah, it is. Nazi Muhammad tweeted Tuesday that he has verbally agreed to come back to the Bulls. However, again, he can't sign until the 10th, and no numbers I saw were thrown around yet.
No.
But it sounds like he wants to come back. So.
He's a pretty decent he could be like a pretty decent center to give Joakim Noah some.
Yeah, that's what his role was last year.
Yeah.
Just filling in for Noah.
And pushing down LeBron James.
All right.
In the playoffs. So.
And as we talked about a little bit earlier, the international signing period in baseball began today. The Cubs signed 16-year-old Venezuelan shortstop Gleyber Torres to a $1.7 million deal. He draws comparisons to Freddie Sanchez, the Pirates' middle infielder.
Okay.
And he was ranked 3rd on MLB.com's list of best international prospects going into today's signing period.
It's crazy that a kid younger than me signed for $1 million contract.
Yeah, $1.7 million at 16 years old. He probably doesn't even have a car yet.
No. Well, he's got one now, probably.
Yeah, well, now, yeah, exactly. That's their, when they turn 16, they get their $1 million from baseball.
You can get a pretty decent car with that.
Yeah, that is the cutoff for international players. You got to be 16 years old. The Cubs also signed Dominican right-handed pitcher Jefferson Mejia or Mejia. I'm not sure. I guess
we'll go with Mejia. That sounds more foreign.
I think Mejia is how you say it, for $850,000. So they're trying to load up on some international talent. The White Sox signed 16-year-old outfielder Micker Zapata out of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. He's from St. Thomas, but he went to the Dominican to establish residency so he could be in the signing period. Otherwise, St. Thomas people are subject to the draft, and he didn't want to go in the draft. He wanted to come out and just sign with someone straight out of the international period. But he's actually from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. He's ranked by MLB.com as the second best prospect. Zapata is said to have the best raw power in all of Latin America for prospects, and scouts say he draws comparisons to a young Ken Griffey Jr.
Really? Ken Griffey, favorite player of all time, sweetest swing ever played the game.
Yeah, they said this kid has massive power. He should be able to stay in center field. He's got a really good arm. He's got some above-average speed, obviously, he had to be in center field. But, yeah, I'm pretty excited for this guy. He's only 16 again, so it's going to be 5 or 6 years till.
Do you think in the next 10 years with this international explosion of talent, do you think there'll be more international players than American-born players in Major League Baseball?
It's certainly possible. It's definitely every year it seems like we get more and more.
Definitely.
So it could definitely happen. And in the next couple of years, they're hoping to add an international draft instead of the bonus pools, which they do now, make it a little more fair. And Zapata signed for $1.6 million. And now the Cubs, with all that money, they could go after Eloy Jimenez, who I said is the number one international prospect. So they have, I believe, $5.5 million to spend right now.
That's what they did when they unloaded all those unwanted pitchers.
Yeah, as early as today, we could see the Cubs sign Eloy. Hopefully the Sox get him, but we'll see. Either way, he's probably coming to Chicago.
That's good.
So let's take a break real quick. When we come back from the break, we'll go to headlines with Sam. He's got some news on a new Hebron principle, and the weighted, or what are they called, the putters, anchored putters are going to be banned. So that's all coming up soon on the Sports Jam. I'm Joe Rourke. That is Sam Sapita, our stat boy, filling in for Mike Zajac, who's on vacation. He'll be back tomorrow. Back to our regular crew. Stay tuned.
The car business is like any other business. You built up a good reputation. You try to maintain your product the best you can. You try to buy the nicest, the lowest mile product that you can sell in your market. And then you just treat people right after the fact.
Go see Joe at the Auto Store on the corner of Ridge Road and Indianapolis Boulevard in Highland. Call him at 219-838-3900. That's the Auto Store, 838-3900.
Not a rocket scientist. I buy a car, I sell a car, I try to treat people right. Stop by the Auto Store.
Losing a loved one is never easy, but owner Kevin Kish and his staff at Kish Funeral Home are caring and experienced professionals who understand that each family is unique and has personal requests and traditions. Kish Funeral Home's beautiful facility offers many services, including cremation, pre-planning, and grief support. Kish Funeral Home is near Centennial Park in Munster at 10,000 Calumet Avenue. Call our good friend Kevin Kish at 219-924-3333 to help you get through this difficult time.
Phil Youngie, 16 years at Corellis Roofing.
Bruce Bailey, 28 years at Corellis Roofing.
Joe Learman, 20 years at Corellis Roofing.
This is Bob Pabst, 23 years at Corellis Roofing.
George Corellis, 52 years at Corellis Roofing.
We at Corellis Roofing are not only striving to be your roofer of choice, but also your employer of choice. Visit us on the web at www.corellisroofing.com.
When the sun goes down, I'll be ready to party.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Jam with Joe Rourke, Sam Spita, Mike Zajac, out right now on vacation, living it up. Let's go to headlines, Sam. What do you got for us?
Headlines today. Some little region sports news. Hanover Central Athletic Director of 2 years has stepped down to pursue his new job as Hebron Middle School principal. So that's pretty good for the region.
Yeah, Jeff Brooks. Mr. Brooks was actually my middle school reading teacher.
Really?
Yeah, at Grimmer. I think it was 7th grade, and he was actually one of my favorite teachers.
And you can read pretty good, so that's good.
I'm so good at reading now.
Dang.
Mr. Brooks. Yeah, he was a real cool teacher. We had a lot of fun in that class, and he always kept it light. And obviously, he's a sports fan. I mean, he was the athletic director. So that's really cool. I'm happy for him.
Hanover Central had a good athletic program too, so he must have been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, he was only there for 2 years, but obviously he got offered the principal job that he wanted. So
Good for him.
So good luck to Mr. Brooks if you're listening out there. One of my favorite teachers. Hopefully he's going to be a real cool principal too. I bet he will be.
Bet he will be.
Yeah.
Back to the aforementioned putters. PGA is banning the use of anchored putters effective 2016.
Yeah, that's I had to look it up. I did not know what an anchored putter was. But it appears it's also called a belly putter.
Okay.
And Paul Azinger is credited with being the first to use it in the PGA Tour in 1999. Pretty much it's a putter that's extra long, and you stand up and you kind of just like you press it against your stomach.
Oh, I've seen those. Doesn't
Adam Scott is like,
yes,
he's actually really upset about this, and he's trying to.
I always see those when I'm watching. Sometimes I flip on PGA. And I always see him. It's so weird. I don't know how they putt like that.
Yeah, he's trying to actually take legal action and say that you can't, like...
Podrick Harrington is the one I was thinking about.
Oh, okay.
He's a guy that uses that a lot.
Yeah, and I guess they just press the putter against their stomach and use it as, like, a fulcrum, and then they put their hands, like, I think spread apart. I don't think your hands are next to each other, and they just kind of use that.
I wonder what that does. Like, why is that some sort of advantage?
I guess because you're using your body, so you're changing the fulcrum point, so it's because your arms, there's more movement there where you can, I guess, mess up. So I guess if it's against your body, you just kind of swivel on your hips when you shoot. I don't know. I'm not really a golfer, but that would be
that'd be a question for Mike when he comes back. He's a golfer.
Yeah, one day too early, but it's kind of weird that they're banning it.
Yeah, that is interesting.
What's the problem there?
What like caused them to just say, hey, we're gonna ban these?
I know. I can't remember now. I just looked up the story. They banned it in some other tournament or some other tour, and then I think it may have been the international tour or something, and now it's come down to the PGA. But it's just weird that they would ban that. It seems like, what's the big deal? Like
is the efficiency like greater, like by a substantial amount?
Either way, who cares? Everyone can do it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's players out there who don't have stomachs to put a club up against.
And it's not like every champion has used that. Like, there's been multiple champions that haven't used that.
Golf clubs and golf balls have had so many technological advances over the years, so why is this, like, the big issue? I don't know.
It's a golf thing.
Kind of weird story. All right, what else you got for us?
Well, I got Victor Cruz, wide receiver for the New York Giants, who's a free agent now, is closing to sign – well, he's not a free agent. He's signing a contract extension. Right. He's close to it. But he is newly represented by Jay-Z.
Jay-Z's crew. Get another one locked up.
Got Kevin Durant earlier.
Yeah, Victor Cruz is he's a really good wide receiver. Being a Cowboys fan, I hate
known for the salsa.
Him. Yeah, doing that little salsa dance in the end zone after him
and Akeem Nicks are a dual threat.
Our awful secondary on the Cowboys. Yeah.
You're Cowboys.
Oh, man.
Nothing like the Bears defense.
Not looking forward to seeing Victor Cruz for that much longer.
Well, here's an interesting story. Kind of laughed about this one. Former Met closer John Franco, who leads lefties' career in saves all time.
For the Mets, right?
For the Mets.
Yeah.
He played for Cincinnati a little bit, too.
Okay.
Well, he threw a baseball at a wall over a real estate argument where he's being sued for it now by the real estate agent. But apparently she was showing them a house, and she wanted an outrageous price, and I guess his wife was yelling at her too. Right. So he proceeds to throw an autographed baseball at the wall. What? Yeah. I just can't explain that.
It's kind of a goofy story. Yeah, I guess they all got mad at each other, and why did he have an autographed baseball with him in his hand?
Maybe he's just so arrogant that he thinks someone's going to ask for his autograph when he's walking around.
Does he just carry autographed baseballs around in his pocket?
I don't think John Franco, I mean, he is the lefty all-time leader, but he's not a household name. It's not like he gets swarmed every time.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird story.
Well, yeah, I mean, side note, he was on the Mitchell Report for steroids, so maybe some kind of raging.
Maybe he's still roiding.
Yeah.
I wonder how hard he threw it.
Probably pretty hard if it made such a substantial damage to where you'd have to sue.
Yeah, I think the story said she's reporting that he threw it at her or near her or something. So I think that's probably the reason why she's suing, not for the damage, but more for like attempted murder.
Back to the Roger Clemens bat incident with Mike Piazza.
Yeah, people need to calm down. Athletes are out of control right now with their rage.
Jeez.
All right, so
And the Jaguars.
we got one more story.
Yeah, one more. The Jaguars. Interesting story. They're so awful that they find the need to put NFL Red Zone on the Jaguars video board during games. If you're not familiar with that is, it's a thing that NFL offers for that you can get on your TV. And every time a team is in the red zone, it appears on the channel.
Right.
So basically, you're at the Jaguars game, enjoying another loss, and you're
unless you're an opposing fan.
Yeah, and you're looking up on the board, and you see the Cowboys in the red zone. What are you? Are you going? Yeah, I thought you'd like that. So, are you going to see the Jaguars? Or are you going to see NFL Red Zone?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I guess Roger Goodell is really pushing that he wants very good Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi of some sort in every single NFL stadium because he wants fans to be able to check other games, to be able to look at their fantasy stuff and all that during the game.
I'm a fantasy football guy, but I just think that's taking out the football experience.
I just think it's so weird that you're going to see a lot of fans, I think, just watching the big screen.
You can watch it at home and pay a lot less.
Well, that's kind of a knock against going to some of the games. So, like the people who are all into the betting for football and their fantasy teams, they go to a game and they don't know what's happening in all the other games unless they're checking their phone for Twitter or whatever. So I guess this is to kind of make those fans happy. So while they're at one game, they're not shut out of the rest of the league. They can see what's going on.
Absolutely ridiculous.
But I know at Bears games in the skybox, they have a little tablet basically. I don't know if everyone gets a tablet or if there's just a certain number of them inside. It has the package on it, so you can just check all the games while you're watching the Bears game. You could sit there and watch all the other games on the tablet.
What would our NFL founding fathers say?
Well, first they'd be like, "Oh my God, what is that?"
But they would be disgusted.
Yeah. So, all right, that's going to do it for today's show. We thought it was going to be short. Ended up actually going a little bit long.
It was jam-packed.
A lot of baseball news and some breaking news with the Cubs and all their trades. Once again, they trade Carlos Marmol.
Wasn't there a parade not too long ago for getting rid of Marmol?
Well, when they DFA'd him.
Yeah. There was some kind of parade in Chicago for
now
it.
Him and Feltman are both gone. Make sure you check out the live remote Wednesday. That would be tomorrow, July 3rd from 6 to 10 at Centennial Park for the fireworks. That should be good as always. We had a lot of live remotes. All right, that's going to do it for us on the Sports Jam.
Peace out.